What's up guys, MSG here. I'm about to bring you a Gravekeeper deck profile from 2020. This is a deck I used a couple weeks ago with a couple friends. Didn't do too well, but I definitely still run it the way I'm running it now. Until Bandless comes out, then I can figure out a better way to run it. Um, I guess it was the luck of the draw or whatever. I didn't have the hardest cards that day, but let me go ahead and bring you the profile that I have for this deck and explain, what these cards do. It's Gravekeepers, kind of a pure version for this deck. I run triple commandants. So triple commandants you can do is just discard commandant and add the Necro Valley. If you have Necro Valley already on the field, then he can just go ahead and be a 2100 beat stick. Pretty good. Then I run the polymerization card of the deck, which is a monster. Gravekeeper Supernaturalist. What she does is when you control Necro Valley and you have another Gravekeeper monster in the hand or field, she can go ahead and super poly into Supernaturalist. So you want to run her at 3 and see her most of the time. I run 2 Gravekeeper Spies. She might be slow, but she's very good in defense, and her effect still triggers if you're successful. Go ahead and special summon a card, Gravekeeper monster with 1500 or less defense from the deck onto the field, which works really well with Hedman, who we run at 2. And Hedman, when he's normal summon or special summon, he can go ahead and special summon from the graveyard onto the field Gravekeeper monster with 4 levels or lower. So he's a really good combo with him, Spy, and Descendant, which we run at 1. You don't want to run this card at 2. He'd be pretty bricky at 3. Be the worst brick ever. But I also run 1 Recruiter, which these 3 right here are also a very good combo. Recruiter at 1 because Necro Valley Throne we already run 3, so that's going to be our new card searcher instead of Recruiter. I find it a little bit much more better than running Recruiter at 3. But that's all the monster lineup. Then we run 3 Necro Valley, which is the heart of this deck, which is this card you need to kind of protect. Necro Valley stops all graveyard from being banished, from special summoning, from changing attributes to the types of the monsters. So nothing can basically be moved. I know Thunder Dragon's spell, you can still use it. They somehow, I guess certain cards you can still shuffle cards back into the deck, but only some spells work that way. I don't know. I know Thunder Dragon's fusion card can still be able to use some of the materials and shuffle them back into the deck. But other than that, Necro Valley just stops the whole graveyard banishing and special summoning for the most part. Then I run the 3 Necro Valley Thrones that I told you that are the searchers for this deck. You can go ahead and activate this card and add a monster, Gravekeeper monster from the deck to your hand, or you can go ahead and additionally normal summon a monster from your hand, which is pretty good. So I like this card at 3. And the Magnificent Royal Tribute. So with Necro Valley on the field and Royal Tribute, you go ahead and both players lose all monster cards in their hand. So pretty okay card, especially going against Pendulum players. I find it very funny. Then we run 2 Hidden Temples of the Necro Valley, which is the spell card Vanity's Emptiness, but for Gravekeepers only. So when you control Necro Valley and a Gravekeeper monster, you activate this card. There's no special summoning except for Gravekeeper monsters. So kind of shuts down the swarming or the special summoning. So it stops everything. Then we run a triple pot of Extravagance. So I was going to go for the Demise build, but I find that I like it more better with the Extravagance, being able to dig more into my deck instead of tossing cards to the graveyard, or not being able to special summon and or banishing cards that I need from my deck onto the banished side. So Extravagance just helps me dig more deeper in, and I rather draw cards from my deck and banish cards from my extra deck that way. So Extravagance is better for me, but you can go ahead and change it for your own liking. And then I run triple super poly because you got to. You're running Supernaturalist, so an easy and faster way to bring out Supernaturalist. I got the super poly targets I'm going to go ahead and show you guys later. And just to keep messing with our opponent, since some decks out there, they find it hard to get rid of the Necro Valley. We will go ahead and mess with their heads and go ahead and play one Mystic Mine. Just in case we find ourselves into some little trouble, will give us the time to draw the cards we need, and then just go ahead and toss our Mystic Mine. Another spell card that's going to be annoying is the Secret Village of the Spellcasters. I find it funny that some Pendulum players do activate this card, not knowing that I play Gravekeepers, and when I play Gravekeepers, it's just like, oh, this guy runs a Spellcaster deck too. But I like it like this better. As for that, I'll get into that's all for my spells. I'm gonna get into the traps. I ran the triple Crackdown. Go ahead and activate Crackdown to steal their monsters, and go ahead and link summon. That's if you didn't banish your extra deck, but it's always fun to just take the monsters anyways and do whatever you want with it, just to make sure you're protecting your life points, or use it for link, whatever. And then we run 3 Solemn Judgments, just for negation and stopping all them other annoying cards that tend to want to just stay locked on the field. So it's more of a controlling kind of build in a way. But yeah, Judgment, everyone knows what you do. And then triple Infinite Impermanence. I was gonna run the Ashes in here, but I find it better to run Infinite Impermanence because can't be called by the grave, and I like it that going first or second, it doesn't matter with this deck. Infinite Impermanence can go ahead and stop the effects going turn 1 or 2. And then 1 Imperials of Tomb of Necro Valley, 1 Solemn Strike. Solemn Strike, counter the effects. Imperial Tombs of Necro Valley is both Solemn Strike and a Solemn Judgment, but you have to control Necro Valley and a Gravekeeper monster. So that's it for the traps. I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys the extra deck. So for the extra deck, I run triple Supernaturalist because we do banish our extra deck. So you want to go ahead and make sure that you at least keep one copy. At least one copy in this deck. You won't be too bad. For our super poly targets, we have Starving Venom, a Mud Dragon, Dracostopelia, and Triff You Better Run for super poly targets. And then we control 1 Cowboy and 1 Abyss Dweller for time, for Draco and other Orcus cards or whatever cards that activate that can still try and get around Necro Valley being in the graveyard. And then Phoenix and Sybaris for getting back, for in case we can't successfully pop cards with Descendant, we'll go ahead and pop it with Phoenix and Sybaris. 1 IP just to help us link faster. 1 Wee Witch Apprentice, sorry about that. And then a Boral Sword and a Boral Load. So that's it for the main deck. Actually, side deck, you guys go ahead and you can always do the side deck to your liking, but this is it. This is my Gravekeeper deck profile for 2020. Hope you enjoyed it. Any comments? If you want to subscribe. Hit the link below. I'll come at you with some more videos this year. I tend to try and do it a little bit more. But thanks for watching.